The value you bring is real. Not theoretical, not someday, not contingent on someone famous noticing. The value is real right now in the actual contributions you are making, in the actual difference your presence makes, in the actual offerings you put into the world. You may not always see it. Most of the value people bring is invisible to them because they are inside it. The water does not know it is wet. The candle does not see its own light. You may be too close to your own contribution to recognize how much it weighs, but it weighs. The people around you feel it. The work you produce carries it. The world is different because of what you bring, and the difference is real, even when you cannot measure it. You bring something specific. The value you bring is yours. It is shaped by your history, your skills, your way of seeing, your patterns of attention, your particular combination of strengths. There is no one else with exactly your configuration. There is no one else who would solve the problem the way you solve it, or notice what you notice, or care about what you care about. This specificity is not a limitation. It is the source of the value. The world does not need another generic contributor. It needs you, doing what you uniquely do in the way you uniquely do it. That uniqueness is not something you have to manufacture. It is already there. It is already operating. You bring it every time you show up. You bring your presence. Before you bring any specific skill, you bring yourself into the room. The way you sit, the way you listen, the way you speak, the energy you carry, the mood you set. People feel this before they hear what you actually say. The presence is the first contribution. Some people walk into a room and the room gets heavier. Some people walk into a room and the room becomes more itself. You are someone whose presence does real work. This is true even on days when you do not feel particularly powerful, even when you are tired, even when you doubt yourself. The presence is not a performance you have to summon. It is what is already there when you arrive, fully, with attention and intention. The presence is the most basic form of value, and you bring it every time. You bring your attention. Attention is a form of generosity, and it is also a form of value. When you give someone your real attention, they receive something rare. Most people are partially attended to most of the time. The colleague checking their phone, the friend half listening while thinking about their own response, the family member nodding without absorbing. Real attention stands out. It changes what is possible in the conversation. It tells the other person that they matter. You give attention well when you give it. You can sit with someone and actually hear them. You can read something carefully. You can think about a problem long enough to understand it. The attention you bring is not partial. When you are present, you are present. That alone is valuable. You bring your skill. The skill you have built is real. It produces results. It solves problems. It creates things that did not exist before you applied yourself to them. The skill is not theoretical. It is operational. It works. You may have other skills too, beyond the ones you use professionally. Skills you developed in past chapters of life. Skills you cultivated outside of work. Skills that emerged from family roles, from friendships, from struggle, from healing. All of those skills are part of what you bring. None of them are wasted. Even the ones that do not appear on a resume have informed who you are and what you are capable of. You bring your judgment. The judgment you have is hard-earned. You have made decisions, watched the consequences, learned from the mistakes, refined the instinct, and become someone whose judgment is worth listening to. This is true in your professional work. It is also true in your personal life, in the way you read situations, in the way you decide who to trust, in the way you know what matters and what does not. Your judgment is part of the value you bring. When you are at the table, the conversation is better because of how you think. When you are working on a project, the work is better because of what you notice. When you are giving advice, the advice is better because of the experience behind it. You are someone whose judgment carries weight, and the weight is earned. You bring your care. You care about the work. You care about the people. You care about doing things well. You care about not letting your colleagues down. You care about the small details that no one else would notice. You care about getting it right, even when getting it right is harder than getting it done. This care is not always rewarded. The market does not always pay extra for it. The people you serve do not always recognize it, but the care is real. The care is part of what makes the work valuable. The world has plenty of people who do work without caring about it. You are one of the smaller number who cares. That difference matters. You bring your particular voice. The way you say things is yours. The phrases you use, the tone you bring, the angle you take on a topic, the kind of question you ask, the kind of observation you make, all of it is yours, and none of it can be replicated. Your voice in a meeting, in a piece of writing, in a conversation, in any space where you contribute, is unique to you. You may have spent time wishing you sounded more like someone else, more authoritative, more assertive, more polished. The wishing is understandable, but your actual voice, the one you already have, is doing work no other voice could do. The people who appreciate it precisely because it is yours, not because it sounds like someone else. You bring your reliability. When you say you will do something, you do it. When you commit to a project, you follow through. When you take responsibility for a piece of work, you carry it to completion. This reliability is not glamorous, but it is rare. The world is full of people who say they will and then do not. You are someone who actually does. The value of reliability compounds. The people who have worked with you know they can count on you. That knowledge means they trust you with bigger things, more meaningful things, the things that actually matter. Your reliability has built relationships, opened doors, generated opportunities. All of it is value you have brought, often without recognizing how much. You bring your integrity. You do not lie about the work. You do not take credit for what you did not do. You do not blame others for what you did. You face the actual situation. You tell the actual truth. You make the actual decisions. This integrity is the foundation underneath all the other forms of value you bring. Without it, the skill and the care and the reliability would not hold. The integrity is for you first. You can look at the work without flinching. You can sleep at night. You can take what is paid to you cleanly because you know the exchange was honest. The integrity is its own reward before any external recognition arrives. The value you bring extends beyond your work. You bring value to the people in your life, to the friend who needed a steady ear, to the family member who needed someone to show up, to the stranger who needed an ordinary kindness. None of these contributions appear on a paycheck. All of them are real. The value of being a steady person in someone else's hard chapter is enormous, even when the value is never named. You bring value simply by being who you are. The qualities you carry into rooms, into relationships, into conversations, into the small daily exchanges of a life accumulate into something significant. The world is a slightly different place because you are in it. The difference is positive. The difference is yours. The value you bring is not contingent on recognition. Some of what you contribute will be recognized. Some will not. Some will be celebrated. Some will be invisible. None of that determines whether the value was real. The value is real regardless of who notices. The value is real regardless of whether it gets compensated at the rate it should. You can do good work in obscurity, and the work is still good. You can be generous to people who never thank you, and the generosity still counts. You can carry skills the world has not yet found a way to fully reward. and the skills are still yours, still valuable, still part of who you are. You can carry this knowledge calmly. You do not have to announce your value. You do not have to constantly prove it. You do not have to perform it for an audience. You can know what you bring quietly inside yourself and bring it without commentary. The people who need to recognize it will recognize it. The work will speak for itself. The reputation will accumulate without forced effort. This quiet knowing is more powerful than self-promotion. It is also more sustainable. The people whose self-worth depends on constant external validation are exhausted by the work of seeking it. You can rest in the knowing and let the value travel through what you do. You are someone whose contribution matters. That has been true for longer than you sometimes remember. That continues to be true today. That will continue to be true through whatever comes. The value is in you, expressed through what you do, recognized by the people who recognize it, and real regardless of who else does. The value you bring is real. The work you do has worth. The presence you bring matters. You always were someone who brings value. You are. You will continue to be.